All right, graduates, tonight is your night. Our first graduate speaker, Ayla Huffman, is from our Madison East campus and is graduating from the Veterinary Technology program. Ayla always wanted to work with animals and people and never considered doing anything else. She obtained her Associates of Science in a community college in Rockford with the idea of going to vet school. When she realized being a vet wasn't for her, she found Globe, which offered the perfect alternative. She moved to Madison and decided to become a technician. Ayla currently works at Fitchburg Veterinary Hospital as a technician and hopes to become more involved with the surrounding community. After graduation, she plans on continuing her education and obtaining a bachelor's in veterinary technology. She also plans on acquiring a specialty or two and one day owning her own practice. Veterinary Technology Program Chair Heather Wibieski had this to say about Ayla. Ayla has been an exemplary student since she first started in the Veterinary Technology program. Her drive and passion for the field has been evident in her classes, externship, student club, and her employment within the veterinary field. She's gone above and beyond, participating and/or organizing events to help benefit local nonprofit organizations, doing so with great pride. I am honored to call Ayla my colleague and look forward to seeing her grow within the veterinary field. Please help me welcome Madison East graduate Ayla Huffman.
Hello everybody. Try not to bore you. Please clap regardless. When I decided I wanted to be a graduate speaker, I talked to a good friend of mine for some advice. She told me to remember my three audiences. The graduates, I'm sure you can figure out who they are. The instructors and faculty, many of which are standing behind me now. And most importantly, all of the family and friends who have come here to support us today. So I have something to share with all of you. Graduates, I know I could share my own story and hope you find some sort of inspiration from it, but I thought to myself, we all have our own story. Our own trials, hardships, and accomplishments. So what would make my story any more special than any of yours? The truth is, nothing would. Every one of us, regardless of the path that has brought us to this point, has worked extremely hard to be where we are today. Sorry. So I tried to think of something meaningful to say, something that might stay with you, but I couldn't think of anything. Fortunately for me, it was Mark Twain that once said, "The two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why." Fellow graduates, I want you to remember that success is not determined by GPAs, whether we will be working in our career field right away, the amount of money we will be making, or how many things we have. Rather, success is defined by our happiness, by the simple fact that we found our calling. We found why we were born, and that we found why we were born. After all, isn't this why many of us elected Globe, to call our home away from home? Globe, the non-traditional college that has allowed us to begin, continue, or complete the path that we are on. I cannot speak for everyone, but Globe has truly been like a home with a caring family to me. It's been the college where I've met some of my best friends, and even formed future business partnerships. I mean, it is all about marketing, right? And networking. We all have instructors and faculty to thank for teaching us, inspiring us, helping mold us into our individual career molds, and pushing us where we needed a confidence booster, as well as bringing us back down to earth when we were too confident. Though there are other instructors who prefer to just make lists and put you on them. I was planning on asking anyone who's ever been on Dr. Jordan's list to stand up, but I thought it would be mean to make everyone in the audience stand. I mean, not even lists or Rocky are safe. Anyways, let me say to you, from me as a graduate to you, staff and faculty, Thank you for all you've done to us and continue to do. Lastly, friends and family, I didn't forget about you. None of us would be here today if it weren't for you. Whether you brought us into this world, raised us, supported us, pushed us, or lent us your shoulder to cry every time we had midterms 5 weeks after finals 4 times a year. We have you to thank for some of our accomplishments. It is obviously, if you are sitting in this room, you mean something very special to one or more of the graduates today. With that being said, before I wrap this up, I have one favor to ask. When your graduate walks across the stage, stand up for them. Show them more than anything and more than they already know how much they are loved and how proud you are of them. I know I will be standing for a number of my classmates. Thank you so much for your time, and remember to celebrate today as you've never celebrated before. Be proud of my fellow graduates. You've definitely earned it.
Thank you, Ayla. That was fantastic. Our next graduate speaker, Caitlin Gaulke from Madison West, is from Madison West and is graduating tonight with her Associates in Applied Science and Criminal Justice. Caitlin says she chose a degree in criminal justice because she is an adrenaline junkie and sitting at a desk all day is not a good fit. This common sense attitude is what brought Caitlin to Globe University in the fall of 2013. A clear vision for her future and the determination to fulfill her educational goals have led Caitlin to her present success. Graduating with honors, Caitlin has already been working in her field for a year and is actively plotting her next adventure in life. And Caitlin is one of our library assistants here at Globe University Madison West, and Amy O'Shea, Madison West campus librarian, had this to say about Caitlin. Caitlin has been a great addition to the Madison West Library. It has been such a pleasure to work with her and watch her blossom during her time at Globe. She will be an outstanding addition to any community that she is a part of. It is my pleasure to present you Madison West graduate speaker, Caitlin Gaulke.
There's a lot of these here. First off, I would like to say thank you for coming to celebrate in support of the 2015 Spring Globe Madison West class. I would like to start off by telling you an Emerson quote. Do not go where the path may lead you. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. For those that know me, I do not take the path that's traveled on. I tend to make my own path and make a few mistakes. I sometimes make the same mistake once or twice. I stepped through the doors of Globe University on October 7th, 2013 at approximately 8 a.m. My first class and requirement of Globe was Microsoft Office with Jennifer Brown. I was not excited to be at school at 8 a.m. However, Jennifer Brown was a great teacher and kept me awake. It had been 3 years since I'd been in college. Luckily, that was my only 8 a.m. class. I was scared when returning to college. I was embarking on a journey I failed at once. I was unsure if I would be able to complete the course. My entire journey in life was new territory. And eventually, all depended on my motivation, willingness to endure the struggle, and maintain life at the same time. The second person that I encountered in my first day at Globe was Amy O'Shea. I had a question with Microsoft Office. After that day, I was going into the library and asking for help, ranging from APA citations, how to make a paper in APA format. I asked her about APA format for about 3/4, until I finally remembered how to do it. I never told Amy my name. Amy found it all out on her own. I was shocked that she took that extra step in finding out who I was. It built a nice relationship. After that, when I would arrive at campus in the morning around 10 a.m., you can normally find me in the library, telling Amy about my weekend or complaining about something going on in my life. The next teacher relationship was built in the class was also a requirement. Professional communications too, with Amanda Schumacher. This class talks about how to present yourself and talk to someone. The class night I will always remember is the steeple hands night, watching the video, and I'll also remember her laugh. Her laugh can always be heard on campus, from one end to the other. It's an uplifting kind of laugh. Those at West know this. You always can find her. The teacher that I was able to spend the most time with was Scott. Scott was our main criminal justice teacher. He shared his experience with us in the field. In one of his classes, he had his daughter come in and speak to our class about the Rock County Jail. It was nice that we were able to ask her any questions about working in the facility. It was great that he provided us with that opportunity. Scott has also been there to answer any of my questions. I have texted him numerous times to be job application references, and he gets back with me in 10 minutes. The experience I've had at Globe, building teacher relationships, has been great. Now the mushy stuff. The journey through college has been difficult in many ways. Choosing to do your homework over watching an entire season of your favorite Netflix show, I am guilty. After all, I am here instead of watching Orange is the New Black season 3 right now. That's a big deal. I've had to make a choice about going out with some friends instead of doing your homework, telling your boss you can work when really you should have said no, but knowing you have the tuition options loan to pay. College is about making decisions, and whether or not those decisions are beneficial to you or could hinder your education, clearly if you were sitting here, you made the right decision. However your journey started and ended at Globe, may it be full of great opportunities with growth and knowledge and maintaining your path you are on. Don't be afraid to divert to another one. I want to thank a few people that have been on this journey in my life as well. Without their constant support, the struggle would have been a little bit more difficult. I want to thank my grandparents. They have provided me with a roof, food, laughter, financial support in tough times. I want to thank my Aunt Pam for allowing me to come to her house during the day, use her computer, and eat out of her fridge. I also want to thank my friend Marty, who has let me stay at her place during the week with bad weather and on the weekends during my long hours of work, offering up her own personal space for the last 2 years. I want to thank my mother, who has always been willing to hear me cry my eyes out over the phone with stress and worrying of not knowing if I can complete a quarter. I have been asked numerous times throughout these 18 months how I've kept my motivation with working 2 jobs, go to school and doing homework, and trying to make life outside of it all. The person who gives me strength could not be here today because she is having to be strong in her own life again. My stepmother Suzanne has struggled with cancer for the last 6 years. She is a fighter. If she could fight cancer for 6 years, I knew I could complete this course of college. She is my reason, she is my strength. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. That was great. And let's all give one more round of applause to our student speakers tonight. It is my honor at this time to introduce this evening's keynote speaker, Mr. Rocky Klitzke. Originally from Huron, Minnesota, Rocky grew up surrounded by educators. Both of his parents are retired high school English teachers and instilled at a young age the importance and value of education. Rocky attended St. Cloud State University in St. Cloud, Minnesota, where he earned his bachelor's degree in marketing in 3 years and graduated summa cum laude. During and after college, Rocky worked at a radio station in radio sales before joining Globe Education Network in 2004 at the Minnesota School of Business St. Cloud campus. During his first 4 years, he served as a high school admissions representative. Rocky went on and won numerous awards for his success and support of students starting school. He was promoted to high school admissions trainer in 2008 for all 25 Gen campuses. Through his travels, Rocky was able to visit all of the Gen campuses and develop a unique view of how each one functions. In 2010, Rocky was promoted again to campus director at the Madison East campus. Since then, the Madison East campus has won numerous awards and has steadily increased student outcomes in both student retention and placement. In 2015, Rocky was again promoted to Regional Director for Globe University, where he is responsible to support and manage 5 Globe University campuses. Outside of work, Rocky enjoys spending time with his wife, Leanne, and their 2 children, Benjamin and Elizabeth. Please help me to welcome Mr. Rocky Klitzke.
So they asked me to write that bio. That was kind of long. I apologize. So, first of all, I'd like to say good evening to the graduates, family, friends, staff, faculty, members of the community. I want to say what an absolute honor it is to be here this evening. Through 10 years with Globe University, I've had a lot of unique experiences and opportunities, but this is by far the best thing I've ever gotten to do. In fact, I volunteered to be a keynote speaker for over 10 years, and tonight I got the call up, so I am super pumped. I was thinking when I was writing this, how many graduation ceremonies have I been to? Because each one is special in its own way. You know, whether I was in admissions, helping students get in school, obviously now, campus director, still working with students and knowing those stories. I came up with an estimate around number 33. It's a little precise. For our students that have done insights, I'm a red-blue, so I like details, right? And I thought, what makes a good keynote speech? I came up with 5 things. 1, engage the audience. We'll work on that, right? 2, be fairly brief. Now, Rick Mason, for those of you who know, was giving me a hard time earlier about my speech, so we'll cut it in half. Hopefully there was nothing too important in that part. 3, make it about the graduates as much as possible. We're going to get there, trust me. 4, try to have each graduate lead with at least 1 thing, okay? 5, humor equals good. We'll continue to work on that. So here we go. As my bio mentioned, outside of work, I have a beautiful wife, Leanne Klitzke, who's kind of gone with me in all this journey and is very successful. And then I have 2 children that are the joy of my life, Benjamin and Elizabeth. Benjamin is 4 months old. He had his doctor's appointment today. He's 20 pounds, so he's a very large young lad. Watch for him on the Badger someday. So I've been regional director for a bit, but I've been campus director for 5 years in Madison. And as campus director, all the East students, I spoke at your orientation, right? Does everyone remember that day when you came into the campus? Super nervous. I asked you questions, made you participate, right? Sound about right? And I told you then, and it's a fact, as you can see tonight, that I get super excited about 2 days each quarter. Orientation and graduation, the start and the end of a student journey at Globe University. And tonight is an end, but it's a celebration, and it's a beginning as you move forward now into your new career and challenges. So as my bio said, I grew up the son of 2 high school English teachers, and I was very fortunate growing up that education was at the forefront of a lot of discussions in our household. My parents would always say, Rock, that's what they call me, except for Robert when I'm in trouble. Rock, get as much education as you can, but because with each step of education, it opens new doors. So tonight our students are not only getting, our graduates are not only getting a degree, but they're also opening new doors, and for a lot of them, a door to their first career, or something that they loved, as Ayla mentioned. I'd like to ask everyone in the room a question. Show of hands, be brave, it's all right. It's good to get outside your comfort zone. Trust me, I'm there right now. So who woke up this morning? Staff, faculty, friends, family, guests, everybody in the room. Who woke up this morning and said, today, I want to be average? Okay, a couple, it's okay. So we'll remember that when we come back, right? So let's talk about this graduating class because they're far from average. It's very unique that I'm speaking tonight because a lot of times we'll have members of the community, but it's very cool in a way as well because working for Globe 10 years, I know a lot about our students. I know how much they've worked. I know the sacrifices that many of them have made. I personally know some of the challenges, especially for the East students, and I know there's 10, 20 times more challenges outside of that that I'm unaware of. When people ask me where I work, and I've gone to Washington, D.C. to talk to legislators and up in the state legislators, and they say, what are the students at Globe University like? And you can sum it up with one word, amazing. And that's what these folks are tonight. We have 32 individuals that will walk across the stage, and they're absolutely phenomenal in what they've achieved. I think you could describe the graduates tonight as persistent, hardworking, role models for those around them, many of their children that they want to show a good path for, passionate, filled with perseverance, dedicated, and the biggest word, resilient. To put it in briefly, they're amazing. To work hard for the results. They overcome steep obstacles, as you already have heard from a couple of our graduates. They have dreams. I had the opportunity, I thought it'd be kind of cool to send the graduates an email and ask them a few questions, and I thank those that responded. I asked them, tell me a little bit about your biggest challenge in school, your goals after school, things like that. So here's a little bit of information and a fun fact. Here's a little information about the graduating class. They're comprised of mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, caregivers, veterans, expecting mothers that took 18 credits to graduate before they had their baby, spider lovers, folks that have pet turkeys, I love that one, scuba divers, first-generation college graduates. How many of you are first-generation college graduates tonight? How awesome is that? Bilingual graduates and world travelers. I'd like to share a story that one of the students sent me today. Question, what was the biggest challenge you faced going to school? Biggest challenge I faced while going to school is I pretty much did it all on my own. Owning a cleaning business, going to school, and having to deal with bills on top of it. I had nobody else to rely on if I was short on money or if anything came up. I just had to push through each struggle and figure it out. I grew incredibly strong. I already have a massage therapy business set up, Ascension Massage, just waiting for my license to come through, and I already have clientele waiting. And that's just one of the stories this evening. Thank you, Brittany, for sharing that. Where's Brittany at? Thank you, Brittany. These graduates have faced challenges and built confidence in themselves when in many times it wasn't there at first. That's why I love my job, getting to work with students like these and graduates like these that have adversity, they win, they come to graduation, and now they move forward in their career. It brings me to another point this evening I wanted to share. I have a personal belief that in life we have several or a handful of what I call fork in the road moments, all right? If you go one way on the path, it's going to have a huge impact. You go another way on the path, it's going to have a huge impact. Anybody ever seen the movie The Matrix? Okay, it's like when Keanu Reeves can take the red pill or the blue pill, right? So I'm going to tell you one brief fork in the road moment for myself. 2004, as Jamie mentioned, I was working in radio post-college. Not the most fun job. No offense if anyone works. It's very challenging going into business as a recent college graduate, telling them why I knew their branding solutions. There's a new school coming to St. Cloud, Minnesota, Minnesota School of Business. It's our Minnesota branch of Globe University, right? And one of my good friends at the radio station, Sam Stevens, or more affectionately called Sambo, he was a DJ. He had a great voice. If he were here this evening, you'd have like monster truck rally voice. It'd be exceptional. Sambo was hired for admissions representative position. He was doing awesome. But he didn't go to the last 3 days of training. Kind of important, okay? So he was fired. This was September of 2004. The campus was opening in October, so they needed somebody. They needed somebody fast. Who did they need? This guy. So I printed my resume, not at the radio station. Well, don't do that at your workplace. Print it off, head over to the campus and say, hey, I want to talk to the director of admissions. I gave him my resume. I said, I'd love to come work for you. Interviewed the next day, went to the cities the following day, which is the Twin Cities and Metro. Started a week later. I had no idea what I was going to be doing, but it sounded like fun. Admissions at Globe University. I didn't really know what that meant. So if Sam had showed up for final training, a fork in the road moment for both of us, right? I probably never worked for Minnesota School of Business. I probably don't move to Wisconsin. I probably am not speaking tonight. We'll decide at the end if that was a good thing or not. Okay? But it just goes to show the impact that one piece of your life can have. Now, how does that relate to our graduates? All of you, I know, have had multiple fork in the road moments. When you requested information, you got a call from somebody in admissions. You went to the campus. Maybe you were nervous. And then you come to orientation, and if you're at Madison East, you had to listen to this guy talk for 12 minutes. You start classes. You have times in school when you think you cannot go on, but you push through them and you finish. Can you imagine how different your life would be today, or a year from now, or 10 years from now for you, for your family, if you hadn't gone to school, whether at Globe or anywhere else? Now, those are some fork in the road moments. So congratulations on making it to this evening. My next point is maybe not the most academic sounding, and I ran this by our Director of Career Services beforehand, but it's a good quote. We're going to try to get 2 of our 5 points here. 1 humor, 2 that maybe 1 piece that you will remember, okay? We have to have a little bit of trust here. We've been talking a little bit. I've shared some stories. I need you to trust me that I'm actually going somewhere with this quote, okay? So the quote is, fart louder. What in the heck did he just say at graduation? Fart louder. Here's the story behind this one. I need a bit of water. Trust me, I'm going somewhere here. So fast forward to 2009, I'm working at Globe MSB. Now I'm a high school trainer, so I'm traveling all over the world to see these campuses. A lot of blizzards on I-94. It was very exciting times. I was working for an awesome woman named Krista Spinks, this fireball of energy. She's about 5'2", taught me to be buzzworthy. I'm still not sure what that means, but I hope I'm doing it proud tonight. And in 2009, there was a campus director position open very close to where she lived. And she loved her job. She was very successful. But like a lot of folks that work at corporate support, we want to get back to the campus so we can work with students, kind of what we do as a school, right? So she wanted to be the campus director. Somebody was hired internally, became the campus director. About 2 weeks later, she approaches Terry Meyer, president of Globe University, a very kind, honest, and direct gentleman. And Krista says, you know, Terry, I really would have liked that campus director job in Shakopee. I'm disappointed you didn't let me know. There's one little problem. Krista didn't apply. She didn't talk to Terry. She didn't express interest, right? So Terry Meyer, president, my boss, looks at Krista and says, you know what, Krista? Sometimes in life, you need to fart louder. Because people aren't mind readers, right? So how does this relate to you? Well, I got laughter here. That's good. Man, I'm trying to get Amanda Schumacher to laugh so I can hear that laughter way across the stage. As Caitlin mentioned. Many of you already have jobs, and for that, congratulations. But many of you are still seeking jobs, right? And you're going to have to call employers. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone like I am this evening. You're going to have to stand up and say, you know what? I'm a college graduate, I have skills, and I want that job. Hopefully all of you will have promotional opportunities at some point in your career. And at that time, you're all going to have to fart louder. You're going to have to say, you know what? I want this opportunity, I've proven success, and I want to move up in the company. People aren't mind readers. If you want something in life, you have to prepare yourself, show success, and go get what you want. And at appropriate times, and that's very important, let others know exactly where you wanted to go. So earlier I asked the question, who woke up this morning and wanted to be average? And there's nothing wrong with that, but very few responses, right? And I asked that because this moment tonight, our graduates are achieving something amazing, a milestone in their lives, and they should celebrate like no other. Who mentioned that earlier? However, in life, sometimes we begin to settle for average, and it's slow. Average from ourselves, others, spouses, employers, children. My challenge is never settle for average. As I mentioned earlier, I grew up the son of 2 high school English teachers. What did they give me when I graduated from college? A book, of course. No car, no money, no food, a book. And I'd like to read a passage. It'll be brief. There will be a full book reading opportunity in the mezzanine, 15 minutes post-graduation if you're interested. The book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. I'm sure you were expecting like some Steinbeck or something, right, like that, 2 high school English teachers. But I just wanted to read 4 pages. Beginning, I had a really hard time prying this away from my daughter's bedroom. I gave it to her. I said, Daddy, where are you taking that book? I said, graduation. Why? Well, because. Why? When are you bringing it back? I said, tonight. It'll be okay. My mom writes, it's been a great pleasure and thrill watching you get this far. Keep going, because it's not the end, right? Love, Mom. Oh, the places you'll go. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have shoes in your feet. Feet in your shoes, excuse me. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your way, and you know what you know. you are the person who will decide where you go. The last 2 pages, which are my favorite. And will you succeed? That's what you're all wondering tonight, right? Well, I'm going to say yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. So be your name, Buxom or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai, Alley, Van Allen, O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Love that book. So why did I read that? 2 reasons. 1, it's right at the heart of where all of you are at tonight. Oh, the places you can go from tonight. 2, live and think like a child. Do we have any children here tonight? Have you ever told a child they can't do something? What do? They use their imagination, determination to prove that they absolutely can. And as an adult, sometimes we lose that spirit of thinking. We start to think why we can't do something instead of why we can do something, right? So my challenge is to think like a child. Prove people wrong. I challenge you to have an attitude that you can do anything. You've already proven that. And there are no limits. My final advice this evening to our graduates is to walk forward from this evening and seek amazing. Don't back away from any challenge. Be successful. Set goals. Achieve them. Don't ever give up on something. Don't settle for anything less, and don't settle for average in anything. Nobody wakes up in the morning to be average. Live an amazing life. Live and work in a fashion that you can have pride. Our most limited resource in life is time. Make the most of each day and every opportunity that you have. As Charles Swindoll said, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Good luck to our graduates. Be blessed. Good evening.